Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us live here on our live stream for Come to the Table Ministry. My name's Tom Weaver, and my partner and beautiful wife, Michelle, is not with us tonight. She's on the West Coast, traveling to be with her son and our daughter-in-law in the state of Washington. But so she couldn't be with us, but I think she's watching online. So send me a message if you are, honey. But we just wanted to come together tonight, tell you a little bit about our ministry. And then also, I have a couple guys standing by in the waiting room that want to share a little bit about the retreat that we had last weekend, the Men Make Men Sexual Recovery Retreat, which was at Camp Urbana up in Edgewater, Maryland. It's the third annual retreat that we've had, and we had such a great time. And just like we did with the women's retreat, the Princess Warrior retreat a couple weeks back, we want to bring some of the guys in to share a little bit about what it meant to them, what they thought about it, what they thought about the speakers, the women's panel, and will they be coming back next year? So we got a couple guys, one that's been to all three, and the other two guys have just been to this year's. So it'd be good to get a different intake or take on what they thought about the retreat. So Come to the Table Ministry is a ministry we've had at Faith Bible Church for about the last 3 years. And we're providing resources and help for those that are struggling in sexual addiction, as well as betrayal and infidelity, as well as just those walking down that journey of the sexual addiction side and the healing, both for the man, the addicted, the spouse who's been affected by it, and also the marriage if they are married. So we're here to try and help. We provide resources, we provide groups, we provide coaching, and you can contact us or check us out on the website, tableministry.com. And we'd encourage any comments. We encourage any questions. If you want to put questions, I see one comment already. So I'm trying to do this alone. So bear with me as we do this. Austin is here. Hello, Austin on the West Coast. Nice to see you or hear from you at least. So anyway, we'll get into the guys now. I'm going to bring them all in together. The first guy I'll bring in is Kevin. He's from Pennsylvania, and he's going to tell a little bit about himself. And then we'll let the other two guys come in. Scott Raba is from Maryland, and Britton is from New York City. So we're going to bring these three guys in, let them share a little bit about the retreat and what it meant to them, and just really share from the heart of the impact it's had on them. So here comes Kevin. Kevin's in. Welcome, Kevin.
Thank you. Hi, Tom. Scott
is in.
Hello.
And Britton. Britton is funny story about Britton. Britton has been in our groups for a year or so, maybe a little bit more. Everybody sees Britton on Zoom, just like we are right now on live stream. And when he came to the retreat, everybody was in shock when they saw him for the first time, because he's like, what are you, 6'7"?
I'm 6'8" when I stand up straight. Yeah.
Wow. So he's like, 4 inches taller than me, and that made me look small or feel small. So
and Tom's a good guy.
Yeah, interesting. It was funny. But so welcome, you guys. And, like I told you before you jumped on, this is just to share what the retreat meant to you. Kevin, I know you were at all three of them. The other two, Britton and Scott, just at this one. But just share a little bit, what the retreat meant to you. What'd you get out of the speakers? And we'll start from there. Kevin, you want to start out?
Sure. And just for clarification, I only went to the two of them. The first one, I was at another retreat, and I was unable to make the Men Make Men out in Maryland. But I really wanted to be there. I was there in spirit for sure. And I've been on this journey for quite a while. My wife and I are married 32 years, and the Lord has restored that marriage. We all know that we're all in this sexual issues thing, and we don't have to tell war stories or anything like that. We all know that we've gone down a path that we didn't want to intend to go down, and it kept us there a whole lot longer than we wanted to stay. So, but praise the Lord that I got some good help. Now, 32 years ago, they didn't have resources like there are available now. So these retreats and these opportunities that men have to get help and get into community is so important. So I like to go to these retreats just to also to be mindful and be reminded of if I don't keep this in check, I mean, I could fall into sin very easily, but there's a lot of things that I do in order to warrant safety. And one of them is being in community, and another one is being involved with men, other men. And my whole motive to be at these retreats is just to provide support for the leadership, also just to support those ones that are just coming out of the weeds and just going through some really tough times, and just encourage and support and say, you know what, if you work it and you get yourself straightened out and get yourself in a real recovery, doing recovery, not just being in recovery, but actually doing it and being in it, you can achieve freedom. And my whole thing is that I don't know my exact sobriety date, but I do know that yesterday I didn't act out. Today so far I didn't act out, and tomorrow's going to take care of itself. And so that's my whole agenda. I don't, even though I celebrate with those that have a lot of sobriety and can say, hey, I've been clean 6 years, 7, 5, 4, whatever it is. But I look at it as every day is a gift. And every day I have to get armed for battle. And my whole thing too is put the armor on every single day. And I encourage guys to do this, found in Ephesians 6, 11 through 18, 10 through 18. And a lot of guys are like, well, I don't have time to do it. And I said, well, then just get the belt of truth on, because that's the first piece of armor that the Lord wants us to put on. And if we run everything through that truth meter, we're going to be doing okay. The retreat this year was fantastic. Just to be around these guys was such an encouragement to me. It gives me strength. It gives me like hope that, you know, I'm so thankful for these guys coming through this thing and being exposed to other men and being exposed to resources that are out there. And so I love just going and I was also a youth pastor, lost everything with my sexual issues. And so my heart goes out to pastors, and we could talk more about that, but I'm glad to see Scott, Britton here and to hear what they have to say. So I'm passing it.
Awesome, Kevin. Scott, so tell us a little bit about you, where you're from, and what this retreat meant to you.
Sure, I'll be glad to. And I'm from Maryland and have unfortunately struggled with sexual addiction for many, many years. And I echo everything that Kevin said. And for me, coming to the retreat is that coming out of the darkness. And
All right, I think we
the
lost Scott.
shadows and not
There he
want
is.
to be open and honest.
You're good, Scott.
Oh, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Still good?
Yep.
Okay. As I say, just encouraging men that it's come out into the light, because it's easy to hide in isolation, and the pandemic has only kind of made that even easier to do. And for me, there's just something about Friday night being in a room full of men and singing worship songs. There's something really powerful about that, being united in fighting the good fight. And I absolutely agree with Kevin, and you know, hence the challenge coins that we got that remind us of putting on the full armor of God, and it's a daily thing. And so, yes, and so I can't recommend enough that the Men Make Men retreat is huge. The resources that were there, the people that spoke, the information that was passed down. Immediately the next day, I was sharing that with other guys. Because it was that powerful and that good. I even read Rich Moore's book, The Silent Battle. I finished that in a week. Just again, someone who sharing his story, and we all have a story. We're all at different points. We can all be there for one another and encourage one another and pick one another up. And that's the brotherhood. That's that bond that gets formed. And being there to retreat with everybody is huge. And so um, I promise I didn't get paid to say this, but I absolutely will be there next year, and would encourage. We want to pack out Camp Rabana and double it up and have a great time. So
yeah, awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later, of what we're doing to try and make the experience even better for next year. Try to pack the place, like Scott said, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. We need to do a couple things to make that happen, but we do have the dates, and we'll get to those in a minute. But
Awesome.
Britton, how about you? What'd you think? Britton.
Hey,
There you go.
Sorry, I think my internet's a little wonky, but yeah. So retreat was just absolutely awesome. Like I found it to be so life-giving and refreshing, and it was such a great sort of just reset. It felt like the retreat was I felt after the retreat like how I feel after a cold shower. It just like totally reawakened my senses and just put my head in the right place in a lot of ways. And it was so great. It was so great to finally get to be in community with some of these guys that I've been seeing for months on Zoom. It was awesome to get to meet other guys. And it was such a neat experience to be with all these men from all over the country, all coming together to, be the most vulnerable and like just open with one another that like I've ever experienced with anything else. And because of that, like that was just one of the most powerful experiences to just get to see guys. Yeah, I think I was one of the younger guys there. I was one of the youngest guys there. And it was really awesome to see guys that had been, dealing with the same stuff that I've been dealing with, but who've been in it for so much longer and have so much wisdom behind that. And like, someone in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like we're all brothers in Christ, and we're all like, fighting the same fight. And so it was so encouraging, and I had so much fun. It was also fun. Like it was all of the guys are great to hang out with. So
You got to play a little pickleball, huh?
Got to play a little pickleball. I actually roomed with Tom and Rich. And
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's funny. Britton said too how so many people came from all over the country. We had people there from Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Colorado Springs, California. Guy came cross country to the retreat. Colorado Springs, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia. We were well represented from all over the country, and it was just awesome to see. And Britton, being from New York, you came by train. Was there any apprehension from you? I know you met a lot of the guys through groups, but
Yeah.
any hesitation about you coming?
I mean, honestly, I felt that it was so needed that I wasn't too worried about it. I mean, I was a little concerned about getting there, like working out the details of, am I going to be able to get from the airport or the train station to the camp? But like everybody did such an awesome job of making sure that everybody was covered and taken care of. And so one of the guys, Scott Smith, picked me up from the train station, and he picked up a couple other guys from the airport, and we, got lunch together before heading to camp, and he dropped me off afterwards. And it was so great. And I mean, everybody was taken care of in that regard. Like, as long, if you committed to coming to camp and, you got down there, then I think that everybody made sure that you were going to be able to get to the actual camp.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. It's like a fraternity of guys. Once a lot of us didn't meet each other before. A lot of us talked on Zoom through groups and stuff. But we had a lot of, and Rich Moore. I just put Rich Moore's comment up there, and Rich Moore was one of the speakers from Pure Desire Ministries, and we do a lot of Pure Desire groups through this ministry. There was other guys that were there that were leaders of groups as well, Pure Desires as well as others, and they were bringing their guys from group to the retreat, which was cool. So we got this intermixing of all these different guys from all over, and we got to share each other's stories, and it was just so awesome. And it wasn't stressful where we're going from one thing to the next. It was a lot of good stuff, a lot of good sharing, a lot of good speakers sharing their information, and was so helpful. We had James Reeves, who most of us know from the Conquer series, was speaking. He spoke twice. We had Rich Moore, like I said. We had Mark Dennison from There's Still Hope Ministry in Florida. And what an inspiration those guys and were. Kevin, what was maybe one thing you got out of the speakers, whether it's James, Rich, or Mark?
I think James, his last session really focused in on a real important, vital part of healing. And that's our relationship with Christ and how we need to believe that, because the devil's going to tell us we're losers, we're no good, we're just a bunch of lying people. And we need to understand our identity in Christ and who is really in us. And then I think that was the biggest thing. And I'd love to that everyone heard that. And I encourage that too, as well. Just understanding our identity in Christ.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Scott, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I think the sheer vulnerability of Rich Moore in telling his story in front of men, which he may have told that story hundreds of times to this point, but I can imagine there's still probably some apprehension and some fear when you stand up in front of men and share what he did, and which is why I got his books. I wanted to read more about it, and he talks about in his book. I don't know if I can find it very fast, but one of the things he talked about is how uh, using the pain and the suffering we've gone through to then turn around and help others, which is what he has done. And that's an encouragement, I think, for any of us to want to be able to say, okay, look, I'm walking this fight. There's other men who are fighting this battle. I want to be a part of that and speaking into their life. Um, and that's just encouraging, because there are men that need to hear this message and be around other men to help them and encourage them to know that it's okay to be vulnerable, that there are men like us who are walking with them, have walked through this battle, are walking through this battle. And so for Rich to get up on that stage and share what he did, for me, was very powerful.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
You know, it's something as well. A lot of guys came up to me. I got a call yesterday or the day before, whenever it was. One of the guys said that he was kind of caught off guard by being able to share. You know, on Saturday nights, we usually spend a couple hours. Everybody that can shares their testimony. It's gotten to the point now. The first year we had, you know, not so many guys. Second year was a little bit more. And then this year we had close to 60 guys. So you can't share. Everybody can't share, but we gave people, the guys, the opportunity to share a little bit about their story. And he was wishing that he would have known that prior to, so he could have prepared himself to share. But I think that's one of the good things about being vulnerable too, is sharing on the spare of the moment, being able to share your story. And for a lot of guys, it's the first time they ever got to share their story. So it's awesome that seeing those guys up there, just like you said, Scott, being open and vulnerable. It's awesome. It's just so encouraging. The other thing that was there too, I failed to mention, was the women's panel. And I know a lot of guys loved the women's panel. Michelle, my wife, was on it. Melanie Lovern and Trudy Kaufman. We're all on, and they did a fantastic job. We had them there for almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, just answering questions from all 60 guys, and it was just powerful. Anybody want to comment on that? And what they got out of the women's panel?
Well, I'd like to say I think the women are the true superheroes and the superstars in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
I know my wife. I just adore her and her love, and to hear the three ladies up there, you could tell that they loved us, or they wouldn't have been there.
Exactly.
And I just appreciate everything they said, and like I said, they're the superheroes.
Mm-hmm. Scott, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I've gained sort of a reputation as the quote man in groups. And so one of the things that was in his book by Rich Moore was a quote by Coach Eddie Robinson. Leadership, like coaching, is fighting for the hearts and souls of men and getting them to believe in you. But I also believe that when we've done damage to our spouses or other women in our life, we have to develop that leadership to get them to believe in us and what we're doing. Something that I heard a lot from your wife, Michelle, how she didn't expect you to do this very long, and here you are years later. And that takes leadership. That takes the ability to put your money where your mouth is, to walk the walk, not just talk the talk. And so you're listening to these women, I agree with Kevin. They are truly superheroes. And this is our opportunity to grow into the men of God, the leaders that we are called to be for our family, for our friends, and for a lost world.
Mm-hmm. Well said. Thank you, Scott. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's the second year in a row we've done that. I think it just speaks volumes when they can be honest, and us as guys, we know what we have to go through, and we try to coach other people into what they have to go through as far as the recovery of the marriage. But a lot of guys, hearing it from another woman or three other women, whichever it may be, is just empowering for them too, to see what somebody else has gone through, to see what's worked for them, to see what somebody else's wife's opinion is, not just their own, and what kind of influence that can have on them. And I think they've done such a great job both this year and last year.
Yes, they did.
So it's awesome. So what'd you say to somebody if they ask you about coming back next year? Britton, how about you?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I would say it's one of the most important. I mean, this sounds a little dramatic, but I think it's probably one of the most important weekends like of my entire life. Actually, it was just a really great life-changing thing that I absolutely want to do it annually every year as long as it's going on. So
I've had several guys came up to me afterwards and said, as long as this happens every year, I will be here every year. There's a guy that was there last year. He said it was life-changing for him. So it's awesome. Kevin, what about you?
I'm definitely coming back as soon as, and I think I was the first one that signed up last year. And as soon as I get the dates, I'm signing up right away.
You're not going to be first this year because we already got some guys signed up.
That ain't fair. That's behind me. I
We'll
don't care. As long as I get there, I don't care.
How about you, Scott? What would you tell somebody if they ask you about coming?
I read a book one time called The 5-Second Rule. And the premise of the book was when you're facing a decision, you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then you do it. So I challenge every man out there within earshot. Count down from 5 to 1 and click on the link and sign up because it's absolutely going to change your life, empower you, and give you hope that it may be hard for you to see. And there's 3 testimonies amongst 57 others that were there that would speak to that. So 5 seconds, sign up. Don't hesitate.
Kind of what Mark Dennison said. If you're not, sorry, go ahead, Britton. What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, Scott, you made a great point. Like 57 other guys, when everybody shared their testimony, like as you get to know the guys, you realize like there was not a single thing that like wasn't done by somebody at some point in that room. Like there is no way that you won't find somebody that you can relate to, wherever you're at in your walk. Like guys are coming from all over the place in all different walks, and so. Like it's so great to know that like you're really not alone with whatever it is you're going through.
Tell them 90%, Tom. I know that's
what I was just gonna say. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Mark Dennison says if you're 90% in, you're 100% out. So if you're not all in, you better get all in because you're not gonna make it. It's tough enough to make it. We've seen so many stories of people that don't make it. And, you got to be all in or it's just not going to happen. So you made me think of something else when I was saying that too, but I don't remember what it was. Anyway, put the pre-registration link. What we're trying to do for next year is, Kevin, you get it down. You click on it. Next year, as same with the Princess Warriors Women's Retreat that Michelle's putting on, which the dates for the women's retreat next year are September 23rd to the 25th. That's going to be at the same place as it was last year or this year. There's going to be an option there for the ladies to come a day early as well as stay a day late because so many ladies had such a good time. They wanted to spend more time there. So they could come Thursday night and they can stay Sunday night into Monday. We'll come out with those details later, but the link for them to pre-register is on the website as well. The website being tableministry.com, which is that. You can go to the website to get that link. And also the men's retreat next year is going to be October 28th to October 30th. The link for that, if you go to the events page of the website, there's a link there that you can pay right now through November 9th. We're holding the price as it was for this year. So you can still get last year's price up till November 9th. And what we're trying to do with the men's retreat is, I think it was Britton or Scott said it, we're trying to get the whole camp. Camp Ubana is a pretty big place. But being such a big place, we had to share it with some other groups. So next year, our goal is to get and reserve the place, which we already tentatively have, reserved a place exclusively for this retreat. It can hold up to 200 people. 200 would be full. But we need at least 100 guys to sign up so that we have to at least pay for the 100 guys to sign up and come next year. And then we will have exclusivity for all of Camp Ubana to just do with what we want and just to share. And you guys know we've had so many awesome sunrises and everything. It's so much good stuff in the morning. At 6 o'clock and 6:30 in the morning, and the sun's coming up over the Chesapeake Bay. It's just beautiful, beautiful scenery. There's so much to do there. Hang out by the fire pit and just do all kinds of stuff. So good thing. The women's retreat, I forgot to say also, is that they have a minimum that they have to meet to get the chapel, which they were in this year. We've reserved that whole thing for next year. And like I said, they'll have the option to stay a day, come a day early, stay a day late if they want to have more time there. So again, that's pre-registration. Both are on the website. You can pre-register for both retreats there. Ladies, if you're listening, you can get that. Guys that are listening, definitely sign up. Kevin, you sign up yet?
No, I'm going to wait.
Oh, come on, man.
I'm not going to wait till I get off.
You're not 100% in.
Listen, don't bust my chops. I'm going to get on. I'll do it.
All right. So anybody else have anything that they would like to share? Anything that they want, maybe that they'd like to share with the people before we leave?
Sign up now. Save yourself some money.
Yeah. So the YouTube page, I didn't even put that up there. Subscribe to our YouTube page, which is that. Follow us on Facebook or like us on Facebook. Just continue to support us. We want to continue to put out videos like this, share more things, share more specific things. I know Kevin's going to share a video at some point. We're not going to do it tonight. We're going to send that out as a separate video on YouTube at some point here about a group that we have been doing on Saturday mornings, but we're going to send out some more information and try and get some more leaders to come to that group as far as church leaders. So we'll share that at some point down the road. YouTube channel, most of you that are here, I'm not sure how many are watching YouTube versus Facebook, but definitely like us on or subscribe to our YouTube page. That way you'll get notifications when we do this again. And just as far as the ministry. Oh, I did want to mention one other thing about James Reeves. And like I said, he spoke twice at the retreat, and he spoke specifically about his Fearless series that he's put out there for women. It's dealing with sexual abuse, women, and what they go through. I think the statistics he said were like 1 out of 3, I believe, have been affected in the church by sexual abuse. And he's put out this 5 video series similar to the Conquer series, which is where I saw him for the first time. Go to, I think it's FS4women.com, FS4women.com, and just check out what he's doing there. James is already committed to coming back next year, so he's coming back to speak again. Mark Dennison is coming back. Rich, and I think Rich is watching. I don't know if he's committed to it yet or not, but I'll find out if he is. So we're looking forward to having the speakers back again next year. And again, just reach out to us, tableministry.com. If you want groups, if you want coaching, whatever you need, we're here to provide resources for you, and also the retreat next year. So thanks for everybody watching. And thank you 3 guys for coming on and sharing a little bit about what the retreat meant to you.
Awesome.
All right. Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.